gets it off in time, and he's got it, baby! Big time Nets win!
The only Nets fans you know. Man, I mean, come on, man. Or are these guys?
Welcome back to the Only Net Fans You Know podcast. I'm Peter, episode number 67. Have faith, my boy. We're here.
Yeah.
The promised land. A miracle has happened. But first, I need to introduce my guest. Welcome to the show, AJ, Mr. Nets Kingdom himself. Thank you, sir.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. Finally, I'm here. Nets fan, you know, we in the building. Nets Kingdom, we're here.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Finally, it happened. It took a 50-point loss. It took pretty much a season of hellish games, blown leads, nightmare, heartbreaking losses. But we finally made it almost exactly 1 year to the day that he signed a 4-year extension. Jacques Vaughn is fired. Nice guy. It had to happen. What was your first reaction? Where were you when you saw it? And like, what are the overall feelings?
Oh, man. So I was at work and, you know, I got my noties on. All of a sudden, I see on my phone, the Brooklyn Nets have dismissed or fired Jacques Vaughn. I just looked up in the sky. I was like, thank you. Thank you. I thought this was, I had a feeling it was going to happen, but I didn't think the Nets were going to do it because we're still paying Steve Nash. He's on contract. Vaughn, we gave him like you said, the extension 3 years ago, for 3 years, multi-year extension for, I think it was like till 2027. So it's like, I didn't think they're going to fire Vaughn, but when I got that alert, I was just so relieved. I felt like just a relief off, as a Nets fan, you've seen on Twitter how the fans do not like Vaughn. They wanted the new coach, what he's done, and it's time for a new start.
Yeah. Last episode I had SZN on, also from Nets Kingdom. And man, I just went off.
Mm-hmm.
There was a clip of me yelling bullshit at the guy. I don't know if you saw it, but man, I was so pissed at this motherfucker and pissed at the organization for not making this move sooner. I understood, like you said, he had a deal left. I think it had $15 million left on his deal. It's a lot of money.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of money. Right? It is a lot of money. Mm-hmm. We're still paying Steve Nash. We had that. He paid Atkinson before this, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be paying all these coaches, but it just had to be done. It was embarrassing. It was just flat out embarrassing. Hopefully I could say this. I might have to edit this out. I talked for. He told me. He said the 50-point loss was kind of like the tipping point, and I really believe it. Do you think that was the tipping point?
Oh yeah, bro. We knew that was. I think there was two factors. The 50-point loss was huge. The org did not like how that went down. And then I would say for me, the key breaking point was the Mikal Bridges interview. If you guys go back to that, the Mikal Bridges interview, he kind of not ripped Vaughn, but called him out about certain things. He said, okay, we don't know what to do when Ben's not in the game. When Ben is in the game, we have a prepared offense. When he's not in the game, we're not prepared. So he sent certain subliminals to that media in the interview after that game. I think the organization heard that, and it's kind of like a crying call. Like Mikal was like, this guy's not it. And then they went the 50-point loss plus that. I think that was a combination of why he got fired. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And just going over Jacques Vaughn's record, he went 71-68 with the Nets, 0 for 8 in the playoffs. Overall, he's on 129-226. Oof. But I think this is the interesting thing we should look at. Since Mikal Bridges has been a Net, the Nets have gone 33-47.
Oh wow!
Not great. Obviously not great. And that 71-68, basically, it's kind of inflated by KD, right?
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah, it was definitely inflation. A little inflation. I mean, without that huge KD Kyrie run, Vaughn's record probably looks a lot different right now.
It's ass.
Yeah. Definitely ass.
Yeah, talking about what you just said with Bridges, with that post-game interview, man, I thought it was so blatant that you had Shams online going that Dinwiddie and Bridges behind the scenes were kind of, they're very vocal. And it's just so crazy to me. I watched, your stuff. I seen the spaces and whatnot with Saint and Cass. And if anyone who's been watching this podcast, I've been saying for the longest time, man, it looks like this offense was built around Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
And when Ben Simmons is not in the lineup, they're not making any changes.
Yeah. And
why do you think he was so strongly like focused on that?
yeah.
Considering we know Ben Simmons' health, we had people laughing at us.
Yeah, it was very surprising to me. Like, first of all, the offense this year. Well, we know Sean Marks, the way he constructed the roster was around Ben. He made
Absolutely.
this team to run off Ben. Ben is the engine. He's put shooters, 3-and-D wings around Ben so he can drive to the lane and kick out to the shooters. That's like Sean Marks' was golden plan. He thought Ben was going to be healthy after the surgery, that no slip ups. So it was confusing to me as a coach, right? When Vaughn came into training camp, it's like you're supposed to prepare your players for every situation. And to put in an offense for Ben, well, Ben's in the game and you have an offense, and then when he's out of or when he's not, then everything kind of just crumbles. It just doesn't scream organization to me. It's like you're supposed to be organized, you're supposed to have play calling, people are supposed to step up, you're supposed to know what to do when certain guys are out. And to have like just looking at the offense as a whole this season, it's been very, very lackluster. Like we don't really have a direction, you know. It's just sometimes I'm watching and I'm just like, it's like give it to Cam Thomas, ISO, and everybody just watch, you know, or give it to Mikhail ISO and everybody just I don't see no screen cut play calling. Like it'll be here and there, but it wasn't on a consistent basis. That's why I was so upset with the offense. And it don't even started on the defense because the defense has been
I was just about to say, I'm
yeah.
sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
What was worse? Was it the offense or the defense when guys look completely lost?
Yeah.
Like I don't. What do you think? What was worse?
To me, I think, well, God bless Cam Thomas because his offense, he makes our offense look good. You know, him and
Yeah,
Mikhail does too, but it's here and there. But CT, like, he makes our offense look really, like, not really, really good, but he just makes it look sufficient, sufficient enough. So I would have to go with defense. Our defense was very, very disappointing with the amount of defenders, NBA defenders that we so-called had. Ben Simmons, DFS, Royce. Who else was supposed to be a lockdown? Dennis Smith Jr. We were supposed to be a lockdown team. Going into the year, I'm like, oh, we're about to lock in. We're about to lock in, set teams up, and strap them down. But it was the complete opposite. Like we might have been, I think, what are we like the worst? I think starting off, we were like one of the worst defenses in the league. You just saw the 50-point blowout. I mean, the defense for me was just too heartbreaking, man. I mean, the offense is bad too, but Cam and Mikhail would have games. Sometimes we would shoot incredibly from three. Like sometimes this team gets hot from three and shoots like 60%, 50% from three, so it doesn't look so bad. But the defense was just, oh my god, it was disgusting, disgusting.
you know
Yeah,
what's interesting to me? Last year we had this team after the 7-Eleven trades that the defense was really good. I
yeah,
think it was like a top 5 defense.
yeah, yeah,
So we came into here saying, you know what, guys, we're gonna have Ben back. The defense is gonna be locked solid. We added
yeah,
Dennis Smith Jr. Offense might struggle at times, but we'll try to get through it. We'll
yeah,
try to get through it. And it winds up being almost the total opposite.
yeah,
What happened? What do you think is the difference? It went from a top 5 defense
yeah.
to bottom. I think since December they've been the worst defense in the NBA.
Yeah. And like I was saying before, like we have all these capable defenders.
What is
Claxton,
it?
defensive
Is
player of the year candidate. Ben, it's like I think the scheme changed early in the year. Vaughn was saying he was going to do a lot more drop. He's going to play more drop defense instead of switch. We were a big switch team. Like we would
Oh
switch
yeah.
screens. Players would switch all the time because you know this is a high scoring league. We don't want to prevent 3-pointers. So when soon as Vaughn changed the scheme to more of a drop coverage, so we're basically we would drop when pick and roll happens, we would drop in the paint to help the rebounding because our rebounding wasn't really good last year. So we would drop in the paint, and this would open up so much shooters from three. We would not close out from three. We would like just drop in the paint. And so when Vaughn switched that scheme, it was just so bad. We gave up so much 3-pointers. Teams were just lighting us up, lighting us up. I think recently, like before Vaughn got fired, he started switching the coverage up. Like, okay,
It
some
looked
games
better.
I'm gonna switch, some games I'm gonna play drop. You know, because when the high scoring teams, like the 3-point shooting teams, you want to switch. The teams that don't really have that much shooters, you want to drop. So you got to switch it up. Vaughn didn't do that. He just was doing drop for a long time, and we were just so bad. I think that was the key. That was one of the keys.
You know what? Like I know I just said this before, but like is it ego or something that he
Mm,
didn't want to switch? Because like you make a good point,
yeah,
and even on the offense recently, like I saw a little more sets being run
yeah,
rather than just one open, Ben offense per se. I'm not sure really like what it was, and it's kind
yeah,
of sad because the guy's been with the Nets a very long time.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure he was there when Atkinson was here, right?
yeah. He was
He's
there,
been
but
on
yeah,
Nets
he
a
was
long
there.
time. He deserved the
Mm,
shot,
yeah,
and he did. I thought he did pretty decent last year. I don't think he was that bad. I'm
yeah.
not sure where the disconnect was, that there was a change. Do you think Marks had anything to do with it as part of like the drop coverage and
I think that
switching?
more. I think it was more of like a Kavon thing. I mean, it's hard to say, but I think it was more of a Vaughn because they saw that the rebounding was struggling last year. Like we would get out
Yeah,
rebounded crazy by teams, so
murder.
I think they tried to fix it. But then you can't really every game you can't play drop. You got to adjust to the team you're playing. So I think the problem was Vaughn wouldn't really he just sticked with something and see if it would work for too long. You know, when you see something that's not working, you got to adjust. That's what this NBA is, coaching is. You got to adjust quick. And he doesn't make those adjustments fast enough. You know, I'm watching Claxton, and Claxton's one of the best switch defenders in the NBA.
Yep.
This man in the whole first half of the season, he's just in drop coverage. You know, he's just falling back. Dayron falling back. All these guys falling back. Like, and then we're not closing out on threes. And this is a league where it's 3-point shooting to an all-time high. You're gonna get cooked. You're gonna get cooked
Every
if you're
team
not.
can
Yeah,
shoot three.
yeah,
They basically,
exactly.
at some night, every night, there's a chance that they could hit 50% from three with the right
Yeah,
guys at the
the
right
right
time.
guys. Yeah. So it's just I think it was more of a I don't know if it was ego. I just think Vaughn was trying to try something and he wasn't listening to maybe I don't know if the assistant coaches told him like, yo, maybe we should do this and this and this, and he
You would
ignored
hope,
it.
right?
Yeah, but I would hope that. But maybe he just didn't listen and was like, no, we're gonna stay in this drop coverage and see how things go. You know.
That might be smart of like the first 20 games, but
Yeah.
obviously
Exactly.
you're saying what you think. We really don't know. We're not in the locker room.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm gonna rift a little bit over here, all right? A couple of things that I've noticed about the team, and I want to get kind of your opinion on it. My thought on Mikal Bridges is this:
Mm,
he is an elite off the ball scorer. He is not to have the ball in his hands, bringing up the ball. He's not going to initiate. He should not be initiating the offense.
yeah.
But when you have a point guard, maybe like a Dejounte Murray,
Mm,
or someone who's going to primary ball handler type guy who
yeah.
could make the wrong shot, can go downhill. I think that opens up his game a lot, and that's the difference between last year and this year. That you had someone who was going downhill a little bit more, and
Yeah.
this year didn't. What he was not as motivated for
Yeah.
obvious reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, shout out to Spence because Spence was always I'm gonna always have love for
Guy,
Spence because even though he did give up on us this year and certain things, there was a disagreement for the backstory for people listening. There was a disagreement between him and Sean. He was told he was gonna be traded early, like early on. He was told he was gonna be traded, and that didn't happen, which led to his lack of motivation early in the season, which just crumbled our team because
and the
like you
contract extension
and
that was
exactly.
bullshit.
They lowballed him on the contract extension. So he was even more angry about it. Now, as you said, this team desperately needs a point guard because we are a bunch of 3-and-D wings. We need 3-and-D wings. Guys need to be set up. Like you said, Mikhail had his best seasons in the I know Phoenix Suns as a off the ball, coming off screens, 3-and-D type of guy. Like he needs to be set up. He had Chris Paul, he had D Book. He needs to be set up. And now I think last year Spencer came in like, okay, I'm hungry, I'm ready, I'm going in. You know, and his assists, I think there was a big stat on him with his assists. He was averaging almost 10 assists.
9
Um,
assists a game, most since the All-Star break. He led the league in assists after
yes,
the All-Star break. Yep.
exactly. So that was key because Mikhail was going crazy that half of the season. Remember, he was averaging
Yep.
like 50, 40, 90 on 27 points, like KD
Yep.
numbers. It was insane that half that when he got traded here. And then now this season, we've seen the situation with Spence happen. Spence was just like, I'm done. Like I can't. Shout out to Jay. Jay put a great analogy. It's like, when you put your 2 weeks in at work and
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
about to
he told me
leave.
that. I saw
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah.
You put your 2 weeks in and you're like, now you're standing by the water cooler. You're just, you're lagging, you're lacking. You're not trying to do your work. You just try to get out of here in 2 weeks. That's basically what Spence did in the first half of the season. He was not trying to play for us. He was
No.
just taking it easy. And that was key because Mikal really struggled. Mikal is not no self-creation kind of guy. I mean, he can self-create in the mid-range sometimes, but that's not his bread and butter. That's Cam Thomas's bread and butter. He needs to come off screens, get a plays run. You know, he needs to be off the ball. When he's off the ball, he's amazing off the ball. But you know, that's where it just was a struggle for us. And now we see Mikal struggle this year and then have up and down season. You know, we thought we were gonna get the Mikal from last year. We did it. We got like up and down Mikal, like, you know.
Is Mikal number 2?
Oh,
A legit number 2 on a winning team?
I'm giving Mikal, I'll give Mikal a 2 or a 3 option. He's not a 1. He's not. I know people want us. Brooklyn fans are gonna. I think even Brooklyn fans will tell you he's a 2 or he's a 3. He's not a 1.
Ooh, a 3.
Some people will say he's a 3. Some people will
Wow.
say he's a 3, man. Hey, I'm just saying what the people are saying to me. I mean, some people say he's a 2 or a 3 on a superstar star team. And that's nothing against him. It's just that's just the way his game is. He's just not really that one, you know, that certified star yet. You know, I'm not saying he can't get there. Maybe he can push his game to another level and get there. But right now, we need a 1. That's why we could see the net star hunting, you know, for a Donovan or DeJounte, what you said, or somebody else, so that he can just be set up. He needs to be set up. That's what Mikal needs to be set up because he's a 3-and-D kind of guy. Yeah.
Next person that I want to dissect, Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson is not a 4, and we have a serious fucking problem, because Bridges and him play the same position. They are both 3s.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, the Cam situation was so because it's like he came off that 76ers series. Like I was like, oh my God, CJ was going crazy. He was shooting 40% from 3.
Potential.
Exactly, dunking on Joel
Saw it.
Embiid. I was like, CJ, okay, let's pay CJ. Let's see what happens. I thought he was gonna take a leap, and that leap, I was expecting like 18 points because you got to help Mikal out. If Mikal's gonna be our so-called 1, you got to help Mikal out. But he just went downhill. CJ, he went through some injuries, and then his shooting has been so bad this year. He's been just so trash. And then people on Twitter, Nets fans, are saying like, oh, we might have to think about trading CJ. We might have to think about, you know, because we might have overpaid him. We gave him what, 24, 25 million dollars a year. So people are saying like, oh, this might be an overpay. I'm just hoping CJ kind of snaps out of it and plays like he should, because he should be a 16 point, at least 16 points. Give me at least 6 rebounds and shoot at least 40% from 3, or 42, 43, like you usually do. That's all I want from CJ. Make your threes. Make your threes. But to his point, Vaughn wasn't really setting him up. Like we weren't really calling plays for him. So it's like you got to give 50-50 blame too. Like 50-50 on Vaughn and 50 and the other 50 on CJ, because he's got to snap out of it.
Yeah, it seems like he's not being as aggressive also. I don't know if you noticed that, but I think it comes down to last 2 things on CJ. I think when you have a point guard, like I just said with Bridges, that game also opens up, because both of these guys are corner 3-point shooters. They both shoot like over 40% on catch and shoot 3s in the corner. So getting a point guard would really help unlock them. Once Bridges becomes unlocked, then the third option has a little bit more room, and and so on. With CJ, I think people need to relax just a little bit. Think about it like this: we did not pay him to be the guy that he is today, right? We paid him to be the guy maybe closer to the Philly series, maybe a year from now. He gets a little healthier or whatever. I don't know if it's a health thing or works on his game, whatever it may be. We paid him to be the guy who we think he's going to be, not the guy that he is today. So let's give him 1 more year. But I'm not gonna lie, it would be nice to get him off the cap sheet. It really would.
You're thinking about that contract, right? You second guessing yourself,
Yeah.
like, damn, should we have gave him that 24, 25 mil? Like, I don't know, but hey, I'm with you, bro. I'm willing to give CJ another year, but he's got to at least make me believe in you, CJ. Like this second half of the year, go crazy. Please go crazy. Yeah.
Another thing I saw about with Jock Vaughn was there was fear within the organization that a star might be dissuaded to come to Brooklyn because of him. You add that in with our how can I say this, with our trade deadline failure, I guess you could say. with Marks kind of fumbling the bag, I think, a little bit when it came to possibly getting 2 first-round picks for Dorian Finney-Smith. Dorian Finney-Smith got hurt. He was healthy. I know for a fact that he was healthy and he could have played, but they kind of got scared just by playing 10 minutes in a game or something, and then we lose these 2 first-round picks. That wound up happening anyway, right?
Yeah.
We wound up getting Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah.
What do you think about all that, about quote unquote like star hunting? And do you think JV would have scared a star?
Yeah. I think, well, the key for the star hunting, I think like the biggest thing that we have for stars is our location. That is probably the number one thing stars would want it, because this is still New York. This is Brooklyn. This is we still have one of the biggest boroughs in the city. It's New York City, the marketing, the money, the revenue. Stars going to want to come to play in New York, and New York is a great place to live. Like, you can, so much things to do. It's fun. As a young player, you want to come to New York and it's fun. But after that, I don't think we have anything else, because they see how the coaching is. They see how the GM and the franchise is. The issue with the Stars, the whole Sean Marks, Joe Tsai situation. People watch that situation and we just had a little like, damn, what's going on with them? And then they look at the Vaughn situation where he was having issues with Cam Thomas. Every player in the league was like, yo, Cam Thomas is one of the best scorers in the league. Like, but then this guy is getting his minutes are down. He's getting benched. He's not playing. So players are looking at him like, yo, are you crazy to not play Cam Thomas? Like, so players are looking at Vaughn like that. And then from an organizational point of view, like you pointed out, they're looking at Sean make these moves, and he continues not to build around his players. He's just doing these marginal kind of weak moves. And, we're looking at other GMs in the league. Rob Pelinka, you see how he flipped the Lakers. Nico from the Mavericks. You see how like Kyrie and Luka were last year. They had the defensive issues. He flipped that team at the deadline. He flipped that team in the summer and at the deadline, and they're a brand new team, great team. Some of these Brad Stevens just became a GM in 3 or 4 years ago, and he literally made the best roster in the NBA in 3 years. So it's like people are looking at Sean like, bro, what are you doing? You have 8 years, you had stars, 3 guys asked out, players are complaining, people are burning bridges. You see how Spencer Dinwiddie's acting. It's like, bro, this is not good. So like I said, all we have is our location. Like, that location thing is probably the only thing why stars probably want to come here. And then, Mikhail is a fun guy to play with. I know him and Donovan are friends. But like, besides that, all I see is location if I'm a star and want to play here, and maybe to market my name, get my money up. But other than that, they got to redo this organization. I think we got to restart. We already fired a coach. That's step one. But another step is front office has to change. We have to get a whole new front office, bro.
2 things from what you just said.
Yeah.
One, first of all, I've been a very big Sean Marks supporter.
Yeah.
I officially lost faith at the deadline.
Yeah.
I'm officially now part of the Fire Sean Marks crew.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and man,
And bro, it's not like Sean Marks is like, I'm not saying like, yo, Sean Marks did do stuff for us. Like, he did help build in those years when we were the 2018 Grit team. He did do his part, but now it's like everybody has to move on. It's been 8 years and no changes. We've got constant sweeps in the playoffs. We need a change, bro. Everything changes in the NBA. There's no GM in the NBA there's a few that stay with their teams for that like 10, 15 years, but this is a guy that hasn't proven anything to us. What wins have we got in the playoffs? What championships do we have? It's like, we got to move on, bro. It's time. I'm sorry, Nets fans. I know Sean Marks did the 2018 D-Lo, and know he drafted Clax. God bless him for that. But it's time to move on. We need a new direction. We need a new GM.
like, he did buy a lot of leeway with me and probably lots of fans, getting us out of that hole. Yeah. And that was well deserved. And if you remember, there were people on Twitter talking about there should be a statue built for this guy, right?
Yeah.
But the problem, come on, there was, bro. There was.
No, you're right. I'm not gonna lie. I was a Sean Marks fan early on. Like, when we got KD, Kyrie, and after the D-Lo,
exactly.
I was a Sean Marks fan. I was like, yo, I might get a Sean Marks poster. Like, I was that. But the way he handled himself after the stars, I was just like, no, I can't. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and we're just getting worse and worse and worse. And then I'm hearing things like, because I know people in Oregon, I hear things, and I'm like, he's not the best people person either. He's not the best guy either. So it's like, it's just a lot, man. It's really a lot.
Why do you think, like, you know what bothers me about Sean Marks the most? You
Mhm.
got the superstars here, right? I don't blame him for the Harden trade. You make that trade 99 out of 100 times. And if
Yeah,
you tell me you don't, you're a fucking liar at
yeah.
that
You
time,
got to make that
right?
hard trade.
With
Yeah, you
those
do.
players with that roster, you're a fucking liar. The thing that bothers me is he never did anything else like almost past that. Like he's like,
Yeah,
oh, we're gonna wait for the buyout to come. And that seemed to be the thing every single year to live off the buyout market instead of making that like one extra move to add in somebody. I look at like Philly, like Daryl Morey. He's
yeah,
always adding to his roster. This
yeah,
man always finds a way. And
yeah,
like I don't understand why Sean Marsh could not add to that roster.
yeah.
I don't understand. I know
Yeah.
I'm talking about spilled milk right now, but still,
It's all good. It's all good, bro. Yeah, he's like I said, Sean Marks. I always say this. Sean Marks is more of a scout kind of
yeah.
rebuild GM. I think he's more of that type of he's not no stars championship GM. Like he doesn't build around when he gets stars, he doesn't build around those stars. He's not that type of GM to make aggressive moves, round out your roster. You know, Katie has remember when Katie was here? He was asking for wings. Katie had to tweet, it's a wings league for Sean to draft, Sean to get wings on his team. Like we needed wings badly. And it's like he's just not capable of being like a championship GM. Would I take Sean as a scout? Yes. Would I take Sean as a one of my advisors for like for rebuilding or player development? Yes. But for a championship franchise GM, I want somebody else. Give me Bob Myers. Give me somebody else. Yeah.
That would be like the dream, right? To get
Yeah.
a Bob
Get
Myers.
a Bob Myers. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. So wrapping up JV. I know we've been going wrapping around different topics,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna put a bow on this one. Uh, I thought it was very classy of JV to I think he wrote like a little note or something. I don't know if you saw this, but I'm going to paraphrase a little bit here.
Mhm.
To the entire Brooklyn borough, it was a pleasure being your head coach. I hope each individual I interacted with felt respected and valued. Just know I gave you everything I had every single day. On to the next chapter. I thought that was classy.
Yeah, I was definitely like I have no personal issue with Vaughn. Like I feel like he's a good guy. I was
Yeah.
rooting for him to do well. Like after the stars left, I was like, I'm gonna give him a clean slate. Let's see how he does. I'm gonna support you. And he's probably a great guy. He's a fun guy, whatever. But it's just like being a coach on my team, it's about wins and losses. I'm sorry. And if you're not doing your job, I want you out. I'm sorry. We gave you a chance. We've seen the issues. We've seen the Cam Thomas being benched. We've seen the lack of adjustments. One of the worst defenses in the league. The timeouts, not calling time. It's like he turned back. He turned into Steve Nash, low key. Low key turning back into Steve Nash. Like, come on, Vaughn. But hey, a great guy. But hey, I wish him the best. But I'm ready for a new coach. Yeah, ready.
You know what? You just reminded me. I asked everybody this, okay? The
Mhm.
last question on Steve. That last question on JV. Who would you rather have this year, Steve Nash or JV? And how many wins did JV
God.
cost us this year in actuality?
Oh my God.
Right? I
That
thought about
question.
this shit blows my mind sometimes
That
thinking about
question
that.
is so tough. Wow, bro, that's a tough question because it's like when Steve was here, it was just basically like a statue. Like it was literally just having a statue because we had to put Mike D'Antoni and Steve had the best coaching assistant coaches in the
Yup.
world. He had Mike D'Antoni and think about that, Mike D'Antoni and Ime Udoka as your assistant coaches. They were probably running stuff. He probably wasn't even doing anything. Like Ime was doing everything and D'Antoni were doing everything. Great coaches, by the way. So I would have to go with I'd rather have Vaughn, the lesser of the two evils. I would take Vaughn over Steve Nash. Vaughn did cost us some games this year, like from I don't know about how many, but there were some situations like because early in the season we were losing, but we were losing close games in the fourth quarter. You remember those games? Like it would be a
Oh
bunch of
yeah.
games. We would lose close games in the
Like
fourth
one or
quarter.
two points.
Yeah.
Like one or
So
two points,
yeah.
legit.
And we were like basically we're the king of the blown leads in the NBA. We in fourth quarter leads, we were the king of that because we would blow fourth quarter leads every single game. And I credit that to I have to put a lot of blame on Vaughn for that because as a coach, you have to set up, you have to call these timeouts, you have to set up your players. When you have a 10-point digit lead or a 15-point digit lead, you just can't mess it up. You call them timeouts, you get your players straight, you can't mess it up. Like, know how to close games. I know some of it is on the players, but you got to know how to close games. And one thing that sticks out at me is the Clippers game. I think we were up by like 15 or 17 in the fourth. It might have been crazy. It was like we were up a big amount in the fourth, and we blew that game too. It was just so there were a couple of games Vaughn did blow these, but I'm taking Vaughn over Steve Nash. I'm taking.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm taking Vaughn over Steve. Yeah, unfortunately, bro. Yeah.
Okay, a couple months ago, I had Cash on my pod, or it might have even been in DMs, and he goes to me, he goes, Pete, I think Jacques Vaughn hired his successor. Kevin Ollie would be a very good successor. He goes, I hear things that like Kevin Ollie would be a very good, guy to run this team when JV's fired. We come back, maybe that was about 2 to 3 months ago, right?
Yeah.
We're here now. It happened.
Yeah.
Kevin Ollie, interim coach. What did you think about it? Why Kevin Ollie and why now?
All right. Well, I think Kevin Ollie I think they chose Kevin. I think it was between Kevin Ollie and Ronnie Burrell. Ronnie Burrell coached the Long Island Nets when they went to the semifinals or the finals. Kevin Ollie doesn't really have NBA experience, but he's had NCAA experience. He's won an NCAA chip with UConn. And there was a interview that stood out to me, Spencer Dinwiddie. When he talked about Kevin Ollie in that interview, he kind of said that the players responded more to Kevin than they did Vaughn. They said Vaughn, they would tune out. They would tune out Vaughn. Like they said, Vaughn was like one of them old parents that you tune out. But when Kevin Ollie speaks, he had command of that cuddle, and they would respond to him. And I think that's kind of the reason why they chose Kevin Ollie because the players wanted him. McHale, probably maybe CT. I think they put a stamp on we want Kevin Ollie to be our head coach. Like I think that was part of the reason why. Because I think the other guys on the assistant coaching staff, I mean, they had some like overseas experience and they had G League experience, but I don't think like none of them really like commanded the huddle like Kevin Ollie did or won an NCAA. That's a big accomplishment. I know people don't want to poo-poo on NCAA championship, but that's not easy to do. To win an NCAA chip, it's not easy to command a UConn that's has a pressure on that team. UConn's a great program. I'm excited to see what Kevin's gonna do, and I don't really have an idea because he just hasn't really been a coach before on an NBA level. I want to see what his offense schemes is, his defensive schemes, how he does the timeouts, substitutions. I want to see the rotations. I'm excited to see what he does. I'm rooting for him. But I think they chose Kevin Ollie because he's a player's coach. He's a player's guy. I think he played for the Nets. He played for the Nets.
He did 19 games.
Yeah.
Played 19 games for the Nets.
So he's a player's guy. So I want to see if he can step up and be that guy for us,
Yep. He's a 13-year NBA veteran. At UConn, he was third team All Big East. He went undrafted. Wound up being kind of like a journeyman of sorts. Like I said, he played 19 games for the Nets in 2000, 2001. Wound up playing 51 games for the Eastern Conference champions that year, the Philadelphia 76ers. Coaching-wise, he spent 2 years as an assistant at UConn. Then he took over from 2012 to 2018. He went 97 and 79, but the last 2 seasons were vacated, so they count as 0 for 35. Take that, how you will. The last 2 years, he was with Overtime Elite of the G League with the title of Head of Coaching and Development. And now, obviously, this year he was an assistant. I'm going to read you a couple quotes.
Yeah.
And I want to see what you think about them, okay?
Okay.
This is from KD in OKC, okay? Kevin Durant when he's with the Thunder. Kevin Ollie taught him the ropes and changed the culture of Oklahoma City. He also said, Kevin Ollie was a game changer for us. I think he changed the whole culture in Oklahoma City, just in his mindset, professionalism, every single day. And we watched that, and we all wanted to be like that. It rubbed off on Westbrook, myself, Jeff Green, James Harden, and everyone who comes through now. It's the standard you've got to live up to as a Thunder player. It all started with Kevin Ollie.
Oh wow, that's great to hear, man. I knew he was like a good player development kind of guy, but that is very, very like good word for him, man. I love that. I love to hear that, man. Because Kevin, if he can do that, like you said, if he can do that here, Vaughn might have hired a successor. We'll see. I mean, I know the Nets are going to do their. I hope they do their due diligence. And summertime, they look at the whole candidates as a whole. But if Kevin kills it, honestly, I think if Kevin can get us in the play-in and get us into the playoffs, even win or lose, if we get to the first round, like if we
That's a
get swept,
success.
I think that's a success. Yeah, I think they might hire him if he does that. Yeah.
All right. Tuesday, first practice for Kevin Ollie. AJ, what's he doing?
That's a great question. Well, first, I think you got to figure out the rotations, who you're going to start. What is your starting lineup? Are you going to bring Ben Simmons off the bench? Are you going to start Ben Simmons? Are you going to start Cam Thomas? We got to figure that out. Are you going to start Cam Thomas or bring him off the bench? What is your kind of rotations for this team? Offensive direction, you got to figure out who do you want to run the offense through. You're going to run through McHale. You're going to run through Cam Thomas. Who are you going to run the offense through? Ben Simmons. You got to figure out we need to put in sets and plays. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to have more of a organization when it comes to offense. You know what I'm saying? Yo, run this play. CJ, come off the screen. You're getting a three. Like we need certain guys to set us up. Like if Ben is playing, we need a point guard to set us up. Get CJ open looks. Get McHale coming off screens, open sets. You know, it's like we got to have a organized offense. I think that's the best thing. The defense, I think, is just more about effort and schemes. That defense, I think he can figure out. Like that's not going to be the biggest issue. I think it's going to be more of a effort kind of thing. If he can motivate the guys and say, listen, we're going to switch, we're going to drop. You know, I think he got to motivate them more than I think it's going to be an offensive kind of thing more than a defensive kind of thing. That's what I think he's got to focus on outside of rotations, like I said before. But those are the biggest things, rotations and offense. I think that is what he's got to focus on. Rebounding, we've been pretty good this year. We've been pretty good rebounding. And then the defense, it's just got to be effort for us. Yeah.
Who's your starting five on Thursday?
Oof. Playing the Raptors, and I think I'm gonna go with. Yes. All right, so I think I'm gonna go with if Ben is healthy, I'll go with Ben. I'm gonna put Cam Thomas at the 2. I'm gonna put McHale at the 3. Oof. This is tough. It's either I'll put CJ has been playing pretty bad. So like are you gonna put Claxton's gonna be obviously the 5, but are you gonna put CJ or DFS? It's your prerogative. What do you want to do? Who's been playing better lately? I think DFS slightly been playing a little bit better than CJ. So if I'm Coach Ollie, I'm like, yo, CJ, if you don't stop playing better, I'm not gonna start you. I know we just paid you the big money, but that shouldn't matter. You know, take away the money. We're talking about strictly basketball here, CJ. If you don't start playing better, I'm going to bring you off the bench. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to bring you off the bench. So DFS, I'm doing Ben. What did I say? Ben, Cam Thomas, McHale, DFS, Clax. That's all I'll do.
I'm going to say the same exact thing as you. Yeah. I agree with that starting lineup. Yeah. I have no qualms benching CJ. Yeah. And a matter of fact, I think it might be even good for him to be within the second unit. You're playing against bench guys. You could sit, you know, like you have to kind of battle in the corner because you want Bridges in the corner sometimes because he's, you know, like we said before, he's elite in the corner. So now you don't, you know, maybe it's not as stuffy. You could focus on his game a little bit more. You could run plays for him with the second unit. Him and Schroeder might be a nice little combination. He likes to go downhill.
Yeah.
Right?
You see, Dennis can set him up, of course. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Perfect. I'm glad you said that because Dennis could set CJ up, and that could be a great second unit right there. That could be a great second unit. So hey, that's my starting 5, man.
Imagine the bench with like Day, Schroeder, PJ. Yeah. That's a nice second unit.
I'll take that. I'll take that right now.
Right?
Yeah, I'll take
that's
that.
A nice second unit.
That's a nice second unit.
And shooter with the defense if you want to like sub them in and whatnot.
Yeah, I'll definitely take that, bro. See, CJ, if CJ, it's gonna motivate CJ because he might start playing better, and we'll see what he can do. But hey, you're right. I think he needs to. It'll be good for him to come off the bench. You know.
Do you think Ben feels pressure from Schroeder?
I don't really think. I don't know if it's a pressure, but it's like you. The thing with Ben, you just gotta stay healthy, bro. Like if you're not
Yeah.
healthy, what? I know he said he wants to start, but it's like you got to prove it to me. I mean, the games that he's been playing recently, he hasn't been that bad. He's been kind of somewhat aggressive. He's been rebounding. He's been playmaking, but it's got to be more consistent, bro. Or I'm gonna start Dennis. I'm like Kevin Ollie has to look at this team because when Vaughn was here, we were playing favorites. We were benching Cam Thomas for other guys. We were benching. We were playing Spence when Spence was giving up on the team. He was still starting. So it's like there was this kind of weird favoritism where the vets would play over the young guys because they're just vets. No, it can't be like that.
But that is normal, though. I'm going to give you a little
Yeah.
pushback on that.
It
That
is.
is normal
It
in
is
the
normal.
NBA to give the vets minutes over the younger guys.
Yeah.
But I think when the talent is that wide,
Yeah.
that's the issue. It's not that you're playing the vets over the young guys. It's when the young guy is so much better.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the difference.
Thank you for correcting me. Thank you. You're right. It's when the young guys are playing better than the vets where because when the vets don't deserve to start, that's where I have the issue. Don't play favoritism if the Spencer or CJ has 0, 0, and 0 has donuts. And don't play favoritism and keep starting them when they have donuts and they're not playing defense. And these young guys are playing better than the vets. That's where I have an issue. It should be like Coach Popovich. I've watched Coach Popovich bench take Duncan out the game, take legends out the game and be look, you're not playing well, I'm gonna sit you till you play well. Like, like it can't be no favoritisms. It can't be no favoritisms, bro. You gotta adjust to whatever's going on in the game. If guys are giving you great minutes, keep playing them. If guys are giving you bad minutes, take them to the bench, you coach them and talk to them,
You're right, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to start wrapping up with our final questions. I ask everybody who's on the podcast, what is your favorite Nets jersey and which throwback would you like to see next year?
Ooh, that is a really,
Time out before you answer. Your favorite jersey, there's one correct answer. And if you're wrong, I'm going to yell at you. I do it. It's for real.
Yo, why you going to do that to me, bro? Now you put a bad pressure on me,
bro.
Nah, bro. There's my
Go ahead.
favorite. My favorite. I'm a big Brooklyn head, so I would have to say the Coogis. The Coogis were my favorite. I know my people might come at me, but the Coogee jerseys were fire. Don't get me wrong. I like the nice Coogee pattern on the. I see the D-Lo sleeves, the Coogee. I like the Coogee jerseys. Those are my favorite Brooklyn jerseys. I guess throwback. Ugh, it's tough. There's been a lot of Basquiat. Basquiat was incredible. I love the Basquiats, the black and the white Basquiats. Those are probably I would want to. If we had to do it again, I hope we rebring those jerseys back. What about you, bro? Did I get it wrong? Did I get it wrong?
You know what? You got it wrong, but you got an acceptable answer. So I'm kind of pissed at you for that. Okay?
Yeah.
The correct answer were the Dr. J jerseys. Those are the best jerseys of all time. Okay,
you like the star with the star. You like
you
Dr.
fucked
J?
up, but it's okay. Because you know
I
what?
like those jerseys.
Coogee jerseys are very nice. Yo, I'm gonna give you a hot take. Brooklyn Blue Knight jerseys. We're bringing them back. What do you think? Those shits were fire, but no sleeves though.
No
None
sleeves.
of that fucking sleeve shit.
Nah, no sleeves though. No sleeves. If you tell me no sleeves, I would love those back. The blue joints. I remember those.
It was fire.
I don't know why the sleeves jerseys were the thing back in the day. Like they had the sleeve. I remember D Will had them. Like everybody had the sleeve jerseys. Like those were some sick days. We were some sick. Yeah, those were some sick days back then, bro. But yeah, Coogis. I would take the Dr. J's. I would take those. Those are my two. Yeah, those are classics. I need those, bro.
Very important question. Even more important than the jersey one. Are you pro or anti Swamp Dragon?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm actually pro. I kind of like this.
Let's go.
I like the swamp. I like the swamp dragons. When I seen the concept of it, I was like, nah, these are kind of fire. Like at first I was like, what? But these are kind of fire. I'm not gonna lie. I like the swamp dragon.
Let's go. I'm hyped.
Yeah.
I get hyped for the swamp dragon.
Yeah.
That's the correct answer.
Yeah.
If you would have been yelled at,
I'd
if
rather
that
have
was
the
possible.
Swamp Dragons than the ones we had this. What was it? The Cause? I didn't like the Cause. Is it Cause?
Trash.
Trash,
Yeah,
right? It looked like some Nickelodeon.
trash.
Looked like some Nickelodeon. Like it looked terrible. Those Cause look terrible. I'm sorry.
Look, I respect the what they were trying to do with the Roots and whatnot. Like
Yeah,
the Roots of Brooklyn, the graffiti. I love all that, right? But
yeah,
like that shit was fucking trash.
yeah.
And
I'd
worst
rather
of
have.
all, you're gonna see them next year.
No way. They
Facts.
bringing them
They
back?
signed a 2-year deal,
Oh, oh
so
my
we're gonna have them
goodness.
again next year. Hopefully,
Those are
they can
so
switch it up a
ugly.
little bit because that shit sucked.
Yeah, they're so ugly, bro. I don't think I've seen anybody wear those jerseys. Like, I don't think- I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to think of people. I think I've seen like 2 people wear those jerseys, but the Cause jerseys are not popular, man. I'm sorry.
Last 2 questions. Next one. Cypher is someone who I had on my podcast a while back.
Yeah.
Like I like the guy. I think he has a lot of potential. But is he Cam Thomas's brother, or is he hired by Cam Thomas? We need to know.
Oh my god, yo, you are so funny, bro. Shout out to Syph is my god. Syph is part
I
of the
love
kingdom.
Cypher. He's a good
Syph
guy.
is part of NK. He's part of the kingdom, man. Like Syph is just one of the smartest basketball minds. He just
Yep.
knows stats off the top of his head. He's just a statistician. Like when I found him on one of our streams, he was just a statistician. I'm like, this guy is just on point with the stats. And then he's right. He actually writes on our website. Shout out to Syph. He writes on netstkingdom.net. So great writer. The Cam Thomas stand, he is one of the biggest Cam Thomas stands
The biggest.
on Twitter. He just loves Cam Thomas. He will fall. He would die on that hill. He would die for Cam. It's so funny, bro, because sometimes like he'll bring me stuff and I'm like, bro, you gotta like ease it down a little.
Chill.
You gotta chill down because he was like writing these fierce articles on Vaughn. I'm like, you gotta take it down a notch. I know you love Cam Thomas, bro, but just gotta take it down a little bit. I'm here for the slander. I'm here for the Vaughn slander and the organization slander, but take it down a little bit. We just gotta reformat and we'll put it out, because he's just, I love Syph though. He's a Cam Thomas guy, man. He is. He's a Nets fan. Don't get me wrong, he's a Nets fan, but
course.
he just loves Cam. I guess just like there's a lot of Cam stands in that Twitter. He's not the only Cam stand. There's a lot.
course.
Cam has a stand.
Undercover.
Now. There's a cult. It's like a cult following now, bro. There's a cult
It is.
following. Yeah.
Me and Saint talked about that, but that's another topic for
That's
another day.
topic for another day. Yeah.
It's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
Oh man, this man, I've had a lot of fun today.
Yeah.
Last question: the Nets make the playoffs if
the Nets
or the
make
play-in tournament. You could say
Oh.
play-in tournament to make it easier for you.
This is gonna be a crazy hot take, but I think the Nets make the play-in if Ben Simmons is healthy and plays 80% of his last games, at least 80%.
Go ahead, let's get some plugs in for you, bro.
Oh man, appreciate the good talk, man. Appreciate the love. You can find us Nets Kingdom 1 on Instagram, YouTube, it's Nets Kingdom. Nets Kingdom Radio on SoundCloud. We have DJ Chubbs. He does a lot of good mixes. Listen to that. Again, like I said, we have a website, netskingdom.net. Cypher's dropping articles, really, really good Nets articles on netskingdom.net. Me and Saint are on Twitter, SaintNet1, Nets Kingdom AJ. So if you guys have any, shoot us a DM or add us. If you guys, want to talk about anything or have some ideas, some content, because we need some content ideas too. And yeah, that's it. All our socials.
You should have that Pete guy on sometime. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yo, you gonna come on the next stream? I got you,
plug.
bro. We're gonna pull you up next stream, man.
Let's go. All right, guys. You can find me at NetFans, on Twitter, on YouTube's. Check out each episode coming out each week. If you guys are having lunch right now, enjoy your lunch. If it's the weekend, enjoy your weekend. Whatever you guys are doing, be safe, have fun, and let's go Nets. We're out.
Let's go Nets, man.